Let's go over all the buffs that are happening this month for champions in Marvel Contest of Champions. This month, you'll get an opportunity to choose one for definite champion from in the Rebirth event, a Rebirth selector. You may get to choose another one, but let's face it, that's probably not going to be for non-spending players. There'll likely be something else like tokens that are going to be used or going to be bought in other places. And maybe there'll be crystals that you get one at random. We'll have to really see. But 7-star versions of Vision, Cull, Obsidian, Dr. Voodoo, Anti-Venom, Nightthrasher, and Sabretooth will be available. They'll also be slightly, I wouldn't say like reworked, it's like they've been upped in some sort of way. They're retaining some of their abilities, but also adding more to it. So not a complete rework, but a slight Rebirth update. And my recommendation would be to play some of the champions at a 5 or 6-star rarity, depending on what you've got, and make the decision of, do you feel there and think there is a change or there is a champion within these that is going to be worth you selecting. And my plan will be to play some of these champions, and then at the end of the coverage, and Command have like set CCP, like certain dates in which we're allowed to release content on these characters, to at 7-star rarity to go whether or not they're going to be worth it. But I think I'll be trying to do something more whenever I can on like 6-star versions, providing when we get them to actually go, they are different, they do this damage, and go which ones are the best ones based on, you know, damage output, utility, and kind of like, I don't know, rate them. But of course, it's down to one man's trash is another man's treasure. And you may go that one of them is actually better for you, as opposed to going, oh, well, I think Sabretooth is going to be the best one, or Cull Obsidian is going to be the best one. Where you might be like, well, to be honest, I want Anti-Venom because he does this, has this particular immunity that interacts with that. Like in theory, for me, I'm a big Dr. Voodoo fan, but he just fell out of kind of love when it comes to like metas, improvements, and of course, getting to a 7-star version earlier would have been better for him. However, this plan of while above 1 bar of power, heavy attacks consume 0.5 bars to apply a lower buff. So it's like if you're up to an SP3, you can basically do parry heavy, hold, and then all those lowers go on. Wait until you've gone from SP3 to SP1, throw an SP1, and then you should do a lot of Spirit Venom based damage. That could work very nicely. The same way with access to power controlling. If you're able to power control more more effectively, then the SP2 may be the option for you. That rhymes. Nightthrasher as well used to be a champion I used to use a lot, especially accessing that gadget debuff and the volume of debuffs that you get on the champion to then obviously get a increase in amount of like critical damage. And of course, that is something that has been shared with how the champion's slight update is working. Knocking down the opponent purifies 1 debuff on Nightthrasher, which is good for purification, especially as a skill-based champion. Gadget debuffs are paused during all specials, which again is nice because you don't want them to fall off while you're throwing special attacks. And then you've got increased gadget debuff duration. Very handy because your damage, rotation, and loop is just like, it's just so important. And then critical damage rating improved, provided by each unique debuff, and then SP2 precision potency, precision duration. You're able just to do like hopefully more criticals, more frequently, and more consistently. So Nightthrasher is what I'm looking forward to. I think I've got like a video like out on my channel like ages old. Yeah, look at that, 4 years ago. Yeah, I really did like the champion back then, but things move on. Things move on with the game. This is what I'm hoping for. You can see all the debuffs are in the thumbnail, so I'm looking forward to playing this champion. And Sabretooth in the same way. If Sabretooth goes the same way I think it's going to be like Cull Obsidian and be a Battlegrounds option for a lot of players. If we're looking at Fury buff access to, if we're looking at regeneration, then this is going to be one of those champions that's going to be just enjoyable to pick. And that's the tough part, isn't it? Between choosing some of the other champions as well. Vision, Sabretooth, Nightthrasher, Anti-Venom, Dr. Voodoo, Cull Obsidian. They're all good and makes you want to get all of them. I think as well, if you're getting 6 stars and thinking about 200 signaturing and then ascending, then that could be like a good in to have something of a relatively decent potency. But let's face it, you probably want a 7-star. And this is why I'm torn between several options. Cull Obsidian, definitely think there's good value in that champion for damage potential. Kabama tipping it as being one of the best ones. So you might see a lot of people choosing Cull Obsidian. We'll have to do some tests. Dr. Voodoo for me, I've got a lot of love for that champion. Anti-Venom, I think there could be some good, if he's doing more damage and access to those immunities. I'm talking maybe like a hazard shift of some description, like if there's a hazard shift, incinerate, poison, then, and as well, like I'm not just saying it's just that about the champion, there's more to the champion. Whatever you like about the champion, damage potential, immunities, interactions, synergies, you name it. Look, he's good for it. It's just, it's difficult when you've got so many potential options to choose and whether you think they're going to be good for you personally. Attacking, or a interaction, a path on some sort of piece of content, or just general damage, fun, or Battlegrounds potential option, then you've got to make some big decisions. Now we need to wrap up the video on the 3 new champions that are going to be launching on Monday with the update. I don't know if the other ones, the Rebirth champions, are going to have like their versions updated as of Monday or Tuesday or whenever the new update comes in. But there's a lot of fun stuff that's going to be coming in for Patriot, hopefully to ramp up the damage potential. Reversal Fury duration increased, Rupture duration shortened for quicker bursts of damage. Yeah, okay, sounds good. Special One Vulnerability duration increased, so all those things play into doing damage more effectively and quicker in kind of like, playing the champion. Cat MODOK has put together an amazing infographic, which I'll leave a link to it in the description, just highlighting those kind of like quick points right there. And of course, mentioning Steadfast has moved to the base kit. And that doesn't seem like it's much, but it might play out differently with the champion. As we said, quick access to damage, and of course, just disease of rotation, which, that's what we need. Do more damage, ease of rotation, which, that's what we seem to have. Yondu, on the other hand, I have a few reservations of. Of course, fighting against him, when you're used to taking like bleed immunity champions to avoid being bled, you're now going to think about rupture immunity champions for this, or using skill champions, or champions that are able to cleanse or shrug off, whether it's debuff effects or damaging debuff effects. So there's a little bit of a rethink to do with facing off against Yondu, I must admit. And then you've got Pilfer Swap for Invalidate, Stifle debuff on SP1 activation, Heal Block debuff duration increased, which is handy against those pesky mutant regeners, and SP2 Fury more potent with lower max stack and guaranteed Fury on activation. This turns the tide. Shout out to Cat MODOK again, amazing infographic, links in the description. It's basically like a tech operating against a mutant champion the way that we know techs to operate. Invalidates prowess, moving from what was, I think, Pilfer, which was pilfering up the armor up buffs, which, let's face it, a lot of the times it's not really helpful against mutants, which commonly you would use Yondu against, unless some very unique matchups. There's a few other things as well, like how Rupture's the main thing with damage here, but meh. I think the rotation will either be SP2 to access that Fury passive, and of course playing into Ruptures, but we'll have to see when the champion's buff is dropped early next week. So finishing off of MODOK, Kabam actually didn't put out on the website that stuff, but they kind of like sent the CCP this stuff to look at, so I don't know if they're planning to update the website. MODOK's signature ability of MODOK will start with his personal debuffs gain 20 to 60% increased ability accuracy when MODOK is attacking while the force field is active. He removes all stun effects on himself. Personal auto blocks are considered well-timed blocks and can trigger the parry mastery. When opponents activate a special attack, MODOK removes all their true strike and true sense effects. So that's more of a defense-based like champion rather than offense. So whether or not there's going to be, I don't know, something that improves his attacking element, we'll have to find out. And we can find out right now. It looks like Flux is where he accesses better attack-based elements. I think a lot of people are going to be 200 signaturing and using MODOK as a defense-based champion. His attribute Fluctuate throughout the fight is a complex and seemingly unpredictable manner. It would take a super genius to calculate the pattern, but it's up to... That's a lot of attack rating, by the way. Block proficiency high, critical damage rating high, and up to 40% combat power rate, and more defense ability accuracy, etc. So I guess you've just got to like get to Flux. As soon as you're fluxed, you're not fluxed, but you can flux someone up, if you get my drift with that one. Kabam basically said like it's here. Excels in playing safe on defense. His powerful auto block on attack. He'll be chasing, placing tons of damaging debuffs on the opponent via his SP2 and heavy attacks. With his new signature ability, he's even more aggressive with damage over time application and more threatening with the new ability to parry attached to his auto block. That can be very, very frustrating, especially if he's a defense-based champion. So you're going to have to find something that has within their own abilities, like, I'm just trying to think of something off the top of my head. I cannot, but if they've got like a non-buff or none of the mentioned attacks, like none of the mentioned, where is it? True Sense and True Strike. So you have to, I think, go with True Accuracy. No, True Accuracy is miss, isn't it? No, it is auto block. It's True Accuracy can be used. Back yourself, Rich, for the love of God. Do it. Anyway, roll on Monday for batch 1 of the balance update, and we'll see how these champions work out. If you want more details, more information, go and check out some of the links in the description. That's been a brief overview of all the champions reworked and buffed coming into the month of August, and I'll see you on Monday throughout the week to cover some of these new champions and, oh, not new champions, but the new improvements to these champions. That's been me signing off. Sorry for the lengthy video, but there's a lot of things to cover, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye for now.